Hey friends, my name is Zell, and I'm here to motivate, educate, and engage with you all on regenerative and sustainable living practices. Now today, I need to go grocery shopping, and I want to show you what that looks like for me. What products do I buy and not buy, and what are the most sustainable choices I can be making when it comes to just grocery shopping. Now, it actually all starts at home. And I know we've all heard it before, but bringing your reusable grocery bag is super important, and it's one of the easiest and first steps towards sustainable living in the first place. But one thing that was kind of hard for me as I tried to implement this habit in my own life is that I forget. And I think, like most of you, you can all relate that you intend to bring your bags, but you always forget, right, when you get to the store. Sometimes I'll just only buy a few handful of items. If I don't have a bag at all, I also just use the shopping cart itself. So I have all my loose items. I pay for them and then put them back in the shopping cart, wheel my shopping cart to my car, and unload them in my car. So I'm always going bagless regardless. But one thing that really helps me remember is I started putting bags on a hook right by my door. So that was super helpful because right when you're leaving, you're putting your shoes on, and how can you not see those bags? And then the next thing is I have bags in all of my vehicles. I have a car and a van, and I'll show you what that looks like next. So I do everything I can to try and help myself remember and start off right. So one thing that's worked really well for me is to get a really sturdy milk crate. I have tried some other accessories before and they always broke down on me. So a milk crate, I have lots of other goodies in here, jumper cables, my reusable utensils, and of course the grocery bags. I make sure that I always have the bags, and then it's always rotating throughout my house. I keep them in my house on the hook like I showed you in each one of my vehicles, so I make sure that I'm never going bagless. Hey friends, so one of the very first things I do when I go grocery shopping is I go in the raw produce aisle first. I get everything as unpackaged as I can. I bring my own produce bags. If I need a pineapple, I should maybe get the whole pineapple that I could compost, refreeze, and have less packaging versus going to get frozen pineapple. So I'm always going to look for my raw produce first because it's unpackaged. All right, I'm shopping here for potatoes and onions, and I know we're all familiar with the bagged versions, but I'm always looking for something in the least amount of packaging and hopefully no packaging at all. All you have to do is come over here to the other side. I've got loose potatoes, I've got loose onions, I bring my own produce bags, and now I've just completely taken out the packaging problem here. So the more you know, the more empowering choices you can make. I found out from following some other social media that single bananas get wasted a lot because people like to buy bananas in groupings. So one thing when I go buy bananas, I get the single one, I try and reduce waste, and I can just make one tiny little decision and a shift change, and I can be part of the solution and not the problem. Okay, so when it comes to condiments, so many of the things we're buying, salad dressing and ketchup and mustard and mayonnaise, and it's all coming in plastic jars. Now, one thing I did learn in my Master Recycler class is that the majority of plastic that's a container, if it's a jug, a jar, it is likely to be recycled, however, it's not guaranteed. The problem though with plastic is that even if it was recycled, it can only be recycled a certain number of times before it's at its end of life and is no longer recyclable. Versus if I were to get glass or aluminum, these things are infinitely recyclable and there is no end of life. So I always try and find my containers in glass and aluminum for that reason. When I toured my local landfill, what the employees seem to want me to remember the most is when I choose to buy products in the grocery store that I keep it simple. The things that we were taught that were recyclable growing up is still true today. So I'm looking for aluminum, cardboard, and glass. All of those things have better value in the recycling market and they have a better chance of getting recycled, or they're infinitely recyclable as well. So I'm always going to look for those products first in those containers versus plastic. So there's an order of priority here. When I start grocery shopping at the start of my trip, I'm going to look for all the raw produce that I can that isn't packaged at all. And then when I get down these aisles, I'm going to look for packaging in glass and aluminum and cardboard over plastic. And it's just order of priority that I can make some better decisions. And to me, that's being a part of this solution. Now I'm at Winco today, and I think that's a pretty familiar grocery store in the United States, and they have a great bulk section. A lot of my local grocery stores are starting to implement those as well, and you can also look up in your city if you have specialty bulk grocery stores. That's where you bring your own container, you get what you need. It's not only good for the environment, but it saves you money over time, and it takes care of some of the packaging problems I've been talking about. Okay, so I'm gonna fill up my first item. I choose to bring my own silicone bags. These work very well for me, and I do sell them. But if you choose to use their bags that they provide, that is still a more sustainable option because you are buying in bulk, which is preventing you from buying everything individually bagged. So believe it or not, you still are making a sustainable choice by buying exactly what you need in one large bag. The other thing is that this is a stretchy plastic. If you do a stretch test, you'll notice plastic bags that you do get at the grocery store. A lot of these stores have a drop-off location at the front of their store where you can drop off those plastic bags. Now, anything that stretches, including these bags or bread bags, can also be dropped off in the same location. So that's just a little tip for you. When I discovered the bulk section at my Winco, I was absolutely ecstatic. Not only do I get little snacks and whatnot, but I can get cereal, peanuts, spices, flour, dried fruits. You can get a lot more than you think. So go check out your bulk food aisle at your grocery store. I know you'll be surprised. One of the areas that I give myself a little bit of a break is when it comes to buying meat. Most of the meat I buy does come in plastic, and I don't know many ways around it other than if you go straight up to the butcher and order special cuts, they're usually wrapped in butcher paper. The other piece of advice is to always look up your local farmers markets, support your local farmers. I was able to do that this year and was so excited to get some grass-fed beef. Next up on my list is to get some milk. I actually come to this grocery store specifically when I noticed that they carried milk in glass. I pay a $2 deposit, but they actually take the containers back, so I always bring back my empty containers. That's when I get the refund for my bottle deposit. These containers go back to the farm, they're cleaned, filled with new milk, and back on the shelves within a couple of weeks. Now, this is an example of a circular economy where they're reusing the materials and not even having to recycle them at all. I like to vote with my dollar, so not only is this milk healthier for me, but it's showing that I care about circular economies and how they are more efficient and sustainable in the long run. Now, I actually make a lot of my soaps, shampoos, cleaning supplies myself at home. I save a lot of money. I'll share these recipes with you. It's very simple to do. I found soaps are very easy to make. But if I were to buy soaps, shampoos, conditioners, I'm always going to go for a solid form, or I'm going to go for powder form, nothing with liquids, because when you're buying Dawn liquid soap, its water content is about 98%, and you're paying a lot for water. You're actually going to go a lot farther if you buy things in a solid form. Alright, so one thing that works really great for me when it comes to beverages is I've gotten great, again, at looking for powdered versions. My Gatorades, lemonade, tea, I make a lot of this stuff myself, and what's awesome about making more sustainable choices is it often also saves you money. This is a great tip to think about. For me, I started down the path because I was just trying to get rid of all those plastic bottles and all that packaging. Once again, when I make my drinks, I put them in mason jars, and I've taken care of the packaging problem, and I have saved money at the same time. I currently have a newborn, so I need to pick up some diapers. I will be trying cloth diapers soon, but in the meantime, I am using the disposable ones. Like I said, I try and give myself a break when I'm learning new patterns or habits. Right now, I'm a new parent, and until I get the cloth diapers down, I will be buying disposable. Now, I just spent about 5 minutes researching these Honest product diapers because they were twice the price, but they did say that they were more sustainable. It talked about no chemicals, chlorine free, and ethically made in Mexico. It said, I went to their website, I looked it up to see if they live up to what they were advertising. I do believe that they are, and I'm going to buy this product. I'm going to pay more for it. The subject I want to go a little deeper into here is that when they're marketing to us, they already know that us as consumers want more sustainable options. We want the products to be packaged in biodegradable packaging. We want better recyclability or ways to fix our products so they have a better or no end of life. We want them manufactured responsibly as well. They know all of these things, and it's being marketed to us that businesses are doing sustainable things. Now, some of them are, and some of them are just marketing and making it sound a little bit better than it actually is. This has been coined the term greenwashing. Now, it is important to be aware of greenwashing. You as a consumer want to make sure that if you're going to pay more for an item, it actually lives up to its claims. So you just have to be a more educated buyer, and you will become more familiar with the brands to look for, the certain ways that they're advertising, and you can take it a step further, go to their website, make sure they're living up to those claims. Either way, I choose to make these types of purchases, even if it costs a little bit more, because I am voting with my dollar and explaining that it is important to me as a consumer that products are made responsibly, come in biodegradable packaging, and have better end-of-life options. I'm going to do this regardless of greenwashing, because greenwashing exists no matter what. I'm just going to be as aware of a buyer as I can when it comes to buying the product in the first place, but I will continue to make purchases in this way because it is showing that these things are important. I can't always find everything at my local grocery store. Some of the things that I do buy online is deodorant. This is fantastic, made in small batches off of a seller on Etsy, and then it's in cardboard packaging, so it's biodegradable. Toothpaste tablets, all of our toothpaste tubes aren't recyclable, and so this comes in a glass jar in tablet form. This has been a fun business to see come about in the sustainability industry. I even buy my toilet paper subscription-based. It's dropped off all wrapped in paper, and this is a cause-based business, meaning they have a mission behind what they do. 50% of their profits are donated to building proper sanitation devices in other third world countries, and I want to support those types of businesses that are acting sustainably and giving back. I'm always looking for ways to vote with my dollar, and sometimes it comes to having to buy online because that's how I can reach certain businesses. So always keep your mind open about what you're purchasing and try and give it that extra thought instead of just running into the store and grabbing things real quick. Just, is there a way that you could be using your dollar to buy better and to vote for the world that you want to live in? I hope I've given you some inspiration today, but I would love to hear more from you. What's working in your life that's more sustainable on how you grocery shop? Or what feedback can you give me on how I can continue to do things better? It's all about sharing information so that we can create a better world today. I think one of the most important things to remember is about taking imperfect action. You know, there are things that I can be doing that I was trying to show that you can do as well. Different choices you could be making just in how you grocery shop, on doing it more sustainably and voting for the type of world we want to live in. Thank you so much for tuning in, and until I talk to you, make sure to make your journey earthly.